Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Now, let's look at the economic situation. Let's do one segment on the U.S. Default bankruptcy situation, and then let's go on to Europe in the final segment. Questions about Greece, what to do about Greece. First of all, the U.S. We're now told that the U.S. will reach the debt ceiling around the 16th of May. So that means during the coming week, since we're recording on the Friday the 13th, within the next week, the U.S. Treasury will bump up against the debt ceiling, meaning that no more Treasury auctions can be held. There will be no cash being borrowed. Now, remember, the U.S. Constitution says the Congress shall have the power to borrow money on the credit of the United States. The Tea Party, the Austrians, the Chicago boys, they don't like that. They say, no, shall not have. They hate the Constitution. They're in constant rebellion against the Constitution, even when they wrap themselves, especially when they wrap themselves in the Constitution. They are in the process of subverting it and attacking it. So we're also told that the cash management techniques available to the Treasury are likely to take us to the first days of August, August 1st, August 2nd, into the dog days of summer, but that the United States is likely to default in the first week of August. Won't it be ironic if these fanatics force a U.S. default for the anniversary of August 15th, 1971? Suppose it's the 40th anniversary of August 15th, 1971, the day when Richard Nixon, Arthur Burns, Henry Kissinger, and a group of lunatics destroyed the Franklin D. Roosevelt Bretton Woods system. They destroyed the fixed parities, and they destroyed the equally important mechanism of gold settlement among central banks, an important reality principle in the Bretton Woods system. So we are now entering into this area of extreme instability. We're beginning to see some jitters in the stock market, right? A few 100-point dive days. Bernanke appeared at the Congress yesterday. We had Deputy Treasury Secretary Neil Wolin, Bernanke. We had Sheila Bair, the by now outgoing boss of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. She should be arrested for not enforcing the laws. We had Mary Shapiro, the Securities and Exchange Commission boss, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission Chairman Gary Gensler, the controller of the currency, John Walsh, a Treasury official. And we have Bernanke saying, I think using the debt limit as a bargaining chip is quite risky. Yeah, that's putting it mildly, Ben. This is playing with thermonuclear explosives, and only absolute crackpot ideologues, fanatics who have lost all moorings in reality could be doing this. But such is the Republican Party in particular. This is now the Republicans taking the lead as public enemy number one and the leading sociopaths on the scene. We have Congressman Boner, or is it Boehner? I guess he wants to be called Boehner, saying we need trillions in cuts. If you want to increase the borrowing ceiling by $2 trillion, says Boehner, then you've got to provide the same amount in budget cuts. So this is a recipe for chaos. The only escape hatch for Boehner is that he doesn't say over what period of time. In other words, does he mean $2 trillion immediately, in which case you'll have absolute economic breakdown, civil war, and God knows what, an absolute conflagration, the destruction of civilization in these parts? Or does he mean over 10 years? Or he's actually saying to get to the end of next year, borrowing authority to reach the end of 2012 into the lame duck session, I guess he means. He wants $2 trillion of cuts. Now, that was an address by Boehner to the Economic Club of New York, and it's quite likely that some of these Wall Street honchos have taken him aside and said to him, Sonny boy, you're at the brink of destroying our system. Yeah, it's the system. It's the only system there is. But the Republicans, again, given this indigestible mass of 70, 80 Tea Party lunatic fanatics, they don't know the realities. They just don't know. They don't know how the whole racket, imperialist and Wall Street banking racket, is actually run. They've taken orders from the Koch brothers, who are sociopaths who have their own view of these things. It's likely that Boehner, in case he hadn't gotten a lecture already, got it on that occasion. And Mitch McConnell also posturing in an interview with Lehrer on public broadcasting, saying at least that many, at least $2 trillion is what he's going to be demanding. Again, the escape clause for these demagogues is over how long? Over the 2 years? Over 1 year? Over what? Notice that the Republicans in the Congress are a chastened crew. During this past Easter recess, a lot of these scoundrels have been bashed by their own constituents, saying, you get your filthy hands off my Medicare, you get your filthy Republican hands off my Social Security. Remember, Medicare, Social Security are the things that everybody knows that they're going to need sometime if they live long enough, and they want it, and they've paid in all their life. And it's not going to be easy for these Republican bandits to destroy those programs. So a lot of them have gotten quite scared. The ones who voted for this lunatic Ryan budget have now been, I think, thoroughly terrified. This was as big or bigger than the town meetings of the summer of 2009. Remember the media hype for the so-called Tea Party, the reactionaries largely protesting against Obamacare, the Obama health care bill in the summer of 2009. They were given a tremendous free ride by the media. This time, much less, and you'll notice. And the reason for that is, of course, that the entire ruling class consensus, including Immelt and the MSNBC people, is that there should be cuts in Medicare and Social Security, just not in the crude, confrontational way that these Republican fanatics of the Tea Party want to do it. So the Ryan budget has become a tremendous albatross around the necks of all of these people, and it's similar to what the Democrats did. The Democrats came in 2009 saying, we've got power, we can now act out all of our lunatic Malthusian ideology, and they were bashed. The Republicans have now succumbed to the same hubris, saying, we've got power in the House, we can now act out our entire lunatic, monetarist, Austrian, Chicago boy fantasies, except then you pay the piper. So this is where we're now headed. Now, let me state again, we should avoid this default and bankruptcy of the United States at all costs. Watch Obama. He will use this to make deadly concessions, genocidal concessions. The Republicans are demanding genocidal cuts in a high-profile, bombastic form. Obama will rather propose genocidal cuts in a surreptitious, deceptive method, his typical indirect method of attack to gut Social Security from the inside. In particular, attention called this week in the press once again to the Independent Payment Advisory Board, IPAB, which is not, as we're told, not a device from Apple Computer, but rather a way to kill you.